It was pretty typical, a typical process. It just was on a much grander scale, you know. It was something that went over 7 months. I did sort of, wow. I think I did 7 or 8.
Tom Holland didn't plan to break the internet. Not that day. Not that way. He was just being himself, awkward, charming, a little flushed in the cheeks, during what was meant to be a lighthearted family gathering. Zendaya's family, to be precise. They were celebrating her cousin's engagement, and Tom was fully embedded in the festivities, from passing around plates of jollof rice to holding every baby in sight. The footage was filmed by one of Zendaya's younger relatives, posted casually to Instagram, and like clockwork, the internet latched on. Not because he was famous, not because he was a Spider-Man, but because of one line, 5 simple, off-the-cuff words that changed everything. Can you hand that to Mrs. Holland? It slipped out with the ease of someone who said it 1,000 times before. No dramatic pause, no cheeky smirk, just Tom, pointing to Zendaya, radiant in a green silk dress, laughing with her aunt, without realizing what he had just confirmed to the entire world. Mrs. Holland. The video wasn't posted by a tabloid, it wasn't leaked or staged. It was simply a moment of intimacy captured on camera, raw and unscripted. And perhaps that's why it was so earth-shattering. It was shared by a real family member, in real time, during a real moment of joy. And in that joy, the world learned the secret Tom and Zendaya had quietly guarded for months. They were already married. The internet erupted. Twitter, or X if you're trying to keep up, lost its collective mind. Within minutes, Mrs. Holland trended worldwide. Instagram fan accounts stitched together years of interviews, red carpet photos, tattoo sightings, and even airport candids, retroactively trying to figure out when the wedding had happened. No one knew for sure. But suddenly, everything made sense. The matching tattoos in Boston, his Z and her T. The subtle bands they both wore in Richmond. The way Zendaya had shifted from calling him her boyfriend to just calling him my person. The Golden Globes ring, the holiday disappearance. Now it was obvious. They didn't just get engaged. They got married, and they didn't tell a soul. Except maybe their families. Because here's the thing. Zendaya's family had been calling him Spider-Man all night. Videos showed her aunt teasing him while he tried, and failed, to do the electric slide. Her cousins begged him to do flips in the backyard. A toddler clung to his leg, yelling, "Spider-Man, Spider-Man, grr," while he handed out cake slices. And through it all, Tom was beaming, a smile as big and bright as the sun. It was the most comfortable fans had ever seen him outside a press junket. He wasn't performing. He wasn't hiding. He was just happy. One fan on Reddit wrote, "He looked like a man who knows he's exactly where he's supposed to be." But the twist wasn't just that they were married. It was what came after. That night, hours after the video went viral, Tom finally broke his silence. No rep statement. No People magazine exclusive. Just an Instagram story, white text on a black screen. Yes, she's Mrs. Holland now, and I'm the luckiest man alive. No emojis, no tags, no follow-up, just that. Fans melted. Suddenly, the internet wasn't just talking about a secret wedding. It was celebrating a love that had, against all odds, remained real, untouched, protected. And the wildest part? Zendaya hadn't even said a word yet. But then came the second wave of chaos. A new photo posted to Zendaya's close friend story that someone managed to screenshot before it vanished. It showed the two of them at home, sitting barefoot on a back patio. Zendaya wearing a white hoodie with the words "The Missus" across the chest. Her legs were curled under her, head on Tom's shoulder. He was looking down at her with a grin so pure it didn't need a caption, but the caption read, "He makes me feel like home." The kind of freeze that happens when something too good, too pure breaks through the usual chaos. The kind of freeze that says, "This is real." And if you blink, you'll miss it. By the next morning, every entertainment outlet was chasing the story. Where did the wedding happen? When? Was there a dress? Who was there? The media frenzy raged like a wildfire. But Tom and Zendaya remained silent. No comments, no hints, nothing but quiet. No interviews, no press tour, just 2 quiet posts confirming what fans had always hoped. They were in love. They were married. And now, there might be even more to the story. Because that same night, while the world was still spinning from the Mrs. Holland reveal, someone spotted Zendaya at a private dinner in London, and discreetly hidden beneath the folds of her black silk gown, a small baby bump. She wore an oversized coat, despite the warm summer night. She drank sparkling water, and she walked out of the restaurant holding Tom's hand, her other resting protectively across her stomach. Suddenly, a new question was trending. Was baby Holland on the way? The internet hadn't even finished recovering from the Mrs. Holland reveal when a new storm began brewing, one with even more weight, more wonder, and more whispers of something truly life-changing. The quiet storm of speculation intensified with each passing day. Could it be that Tom Holland and Zendaya weren't just secretly married, but also expecting their first child? At the center of the speculation was that London dinner photo, snapped just hours after Tom's Instagram story confirmed Zendaya as his wife. Zendaya, the fashion icon who made paparazzi shots look like high fashion spreads, seemed almost deliberately toned down. She wore an oversized camel coat draped over a loose-fitting dress, hair swept into a soft bun, makeup minimal, elegant as ever, but different. The hand placement, so seemingly innocuous but freighted with meaning. Zendaya was photographed walking just behind Tom, her left hand holding his tightly, while her right hand rested across her lower abdomen, a gesture so instinctive, so universal that fans didn't even hesitate. Reddit lit up. "That's the bump guard. My sister walked like that the whole first trimester." Twitter went nuclear. "So you're telling me Tom married Zendaya in secret and now Mrs. Holland might be pregnant?" I'm crying real tears. TikTokers posted reaction videos with background lullabies, zooming into Zendaya's coat folds and debating the visibility of a curve. Some claimed they saw it. Others said we were all just wishfully projecting. But deep down, the internet wanted to believe it because, for so long, Tom and Zendaya had given us something rare: authenticity. And it wasn't hard to imagine that now, at the height of their careers and the peak of their love, they might be growing their family too. A love story like theirs deserved an encore. But let's rewind a bit. The wedding. No one knows exactly when it happened, but theories are swirling. Some say it took place over New Year's in Kingston, at the Holland family home where Tom's parents had decorated the back garden with fairy lights and white roses. It would have been cold, cozy, and private, just family, just love. Others insist it happened in Italy, specifically Lake Como, where Zendaya and Tom had vacationed quietly the previous summer. The theory? They fell in love with the villa they stayed in and returned with their closest circle to exchange vows beneath the olive trees. No press, no drones, just whispered vows and shared promises. What we do know is this: there were no paparazzi shots, no tabloid leaks, no magazine features. Even their rings, though visible in hindsight, were simple and subtle. Zendaya's was often mistaken for a statement piece. Only their families knew, and the proof was in those family gathering videos, the ones that went viral when Zendaya's cousin shared them on Instagram. There was Tom, lovingly referred to only as Spider-Man, holding babies, dancing with aunties, filming Zendaya mid-laugh like a man who still couldn't believe his luck. There was no performance, no awareness of optics, just comfort, just joy, just a man deeply accepted and a woman deeply adored. In one moment, captured in shaky vertical footage, a relative can be heard saying, "Spider-Man, go check if your wife wants more Yolof." To which Tom, mid-laugh, replied, "Mrs. Holland always wants more Yolof." That was the moment. No pause, no wink, just casual certainty. And that's what made it real. It wasn't a declaration, it was a fact. Now, as fans brace for what may be another quiet reveal, a baby bump, a name, a new chapter, the conversation has shifted from speculation to celebration, because whether they confirm it or not, it's clear that Tom and Zendaya have built something stronger than most celebrity couples could dream of. Not a spectacle, not a brand, a life. Tom has always spoken about his desire for normalcy. In a 2022 interview, he said, "I want to take a break. I want to start a family, figure out what I want outside of acting. I've spent the last few years thinking I had to chase everything, but I think peace is the real prize," Tom had said in 2022. Zendaya, always grounded despite her global fame, echoed that sentiment in a 2023 profile. "I've started asking myself what it means to have a legacy, not in awards, but in love, in peace, in home." It's no wonder that the two of them found each other. Their chemistry was off the charts, but their respect for each other was evident from day one. As Peter and MJ, Tom and Zendaya's on-screen love story became a cultural phenomenon, but it was their off-screen story that became the stuff of legend. Years of friendship turned to romance, romance turned into partnership, partnership into marriage, and now, perhaps parenthood, a story unfolding quietly, steadily, fueled by love and trust. Their friends know, their families know, and now, little by little, the rest of us are being let in, not with fanfare, but with fragments, a word, a glance, a hand on a belly. The truth is, Tom Holland and Zendaya didn't need a magazine cover to prove they were in love. They didn't need paparazzi photos to announce a wedding. And if they are expecting, they certainly won't use a brand deal or a headline to introduce their child to the world. Because that's not who they are. They're just two dorks in love, two best friends who grew into soulmates. A boy from Kingston and a girl from Oakland who happened to meet on a soundstage and decided to build a universe together. Not the Marvel one, but one that belonged only to them. And if there's one thing we now know for sure, it's this. Zendaya is Mrs. Holland. And Tom couldn't be prouder to say it.